Today I'm going to follow up on the two videos I did on Denver Metro audits suing fraudulent troll. This video is going to focus on the conduct of his attorney, and I want you to really pay attention to the way this man treats people, and then think about whether or not you think it is a good idea that Section 1201 of the DMCA be used in this way. One of my findings throughout life is that when you have abusive laws, you have abusive rules in place, it tends to be the biggest pieces of shit that have the worst possible behavior that end up being the people that use this as an excuse to bully other people. And I'm finding that to be the case the more I look into this. Many people have suggested that I look into the personalities involved, and I don't think that they meant me looking into the lawyer. I think they meant me looking into Denver Metro Audits, who's doing the lawsuit, or the defendant, fraudulent troll. But I'm really interested in the lawyer, and the reason I'm interested in the lawyer is because it is the lawyer that has power. What can a YouTuber at the end of the day do to you that has a couple of thousand views per video? Not much. What a lawyer can do is massively fuck up your life. There are people that have tried to sue me because they didn't like what I had to say, and when you're dealing with a lawyer, as the person who is dealing with Deep Cycle Systems batteries can tell you, or anybody else on this channel where I've discussed their lawsuits, it's very easy to get caught up spending $40,000 to $150,000 to defend yourself. And even if you win, you then have to countersue for damages. You will have to collect. It is a painful process, and many people simply do not have the $400 to $1,200 an hour to pay for an attorney to fight a frivolous lawsuit. So if an attorney is acting in bad faith, they can just say, I'm going to file lawsuits against people that I know don't have the money to defend themselves, and bully them. You can essentially get them to either submit, or I'm just going to force you to court. I see this to be a very distasteful thing to do. So the first thing I need to say before I get into anything else in this video is that I do not disrespect the concept of First Amendment auditing. I think it's a very important thing to do. I have been kicked out of legislative hearings before when I show up with my camera to record these right to repair hearings and show you what lobbyists say because I don't have a press pass. I've done many videos in this channel where I show up to legislatures with my camera, I talk to the senators, the assemblymen, the representatives, and I tell them why right to repair is important, and I also try to debunk the lobbyist bullshit. The lobbyists will say things like, Lewis is going to install TikTok on your phone, and it's going to spy on you, and it's the manufacturer that's pre-installing TikTok to begin with that you represent. Or they say that magtrometers and microwaves will explode when magtrometer is not even a part that's in a microwave. And they'll say that I need a press pass in order to record. Somebody from my audience actually made me a press pass just in case that happens again 6 years ago. Shout out to whoever made this. Or there will be lobbyists that will say that I harassed them or that I violated their privacy by showing up to a public legislative hearing with my camera in a government building and recording what they said at the public hearing. That's not harassment. That's not an invasion of privacy. There's no expectation of privacy in a public legislative hearing. You just don't like the fact that I recorded you lying and hundreds of thousands of people are now going to see it that you're not used to having listened to your BS or call you on it. So First Amendment auditing is very important, but unfortunately, with everything in life, there are bad apples that get into everything. So I was going over this lawsuit in a recent video that I did where Denver Metro Audits sued fraudulent troll, and he was saying, listen, the way you use my video is not fair use. So fraudulent troll uploaded a video that included a lot of Denver Metro Audits' content in it, and he made remarks and criticism on that video. Denver Metro Audits filed a strike on that video saying this is not fair use. You use way too much of my content. Fraudulent troll defended himself, counter-claimed, and actually won. I want you to think about this for a moment. YouTube is a platform where it constantly, willy-nilly gets it wrong and always enforces the strike even when it's incorrect. And here, a channel that's 1/3 or 1/5 the size of the channel making the strike, that's much less authoritative, actually won. I want you to think about this for a moment. This is kind of like if Tim Cook walked up to me and said, by the way, Lewis, we're going to come out with a new MacBook in a few months. Here's all the schematics and a USB for it. This is a cold day in hell. This type of thing just doesn't happen. So they filed a lawsuit saying that this is not fair use. The infringing video does not qualify as a protected fair use. It consists predominantly of the plaintiff's copyrighted content replayed in a long and unscripted sequences. Defendant's minimal additions, less than 4 minutes of sarcastic narration, do not meaningfully critique the registered video or transform its message. If this was just a fair use complaint, I would not compare. I might think of it as a little bit petty, but it wouldn't be something that rises to me doing a video or really caring about it. This is just like a petty squabble or dispute. The reason that this bothers me is because they added something to this. Now, I'm guessing that when they saw, wow, even YouTube thinks this is fair use, we're going to have to do something if we can actually sue this guy, is they added a Section 1201 section to it. Section 1201 of the DMCA is a law that says it is illegal to break a digital lock. It is a law that I have been against for a long period of time. This law has a lot of horrible consequences. It has been used to have the FBI arrest or raid people that make a piece of software that removes DRM from an ebook so you can use it in a different ebook reader. This law has resulted in a company that makes garage door openers getting caught up in it. This law has resulted in companies that make aftermarket ink cartridges getting in trouble. There are some printer companies that think that you should have to buy ink from them. And as Cory Doctorow says, if you look at oil, insulin, anything else, color printer ink in the United States is literally the most expensive liquid that you can get by the gallon. Many printer companies think that you should only be able to buy the ink from them, and they'll put these technological protection measures into their printers. And this law is so poorly written that they were actually able to bring suit against companies making aftermarket ink cartridges. It has also been brought against somebody who was making homebrew Xbox software. And the judge thought this was so ridiculous, they said, I don't really even understand what we're doing here. They slammed everything that they did. This law is why farmers can't fix their own tractors. This law is also been used for programs that you may use. It is why YouTube Revanced and Spotify Revanced are illegal. It is why YouTube Downloader is illegal. And the people who made YouTube Downloader can be in federal prison for up to 3 to 5 years. And this is a very unique law because the law does not criminalize the behavior or the conduct, it criminalizes the tool. So to give the best analogy I can give here from a Second Amendment point of view, instead of criminalizing the action of shooting my neighbor, they're criminalizing the action of having a gun. But not just necessarily having a gun, making a gun, or even showing somebody how to do that. So California is not known as a very pro-Second Amendment state. But imagine if the CEO of Glock walked through San Francisco and was arrested simply because he has facilitated the creation of a gun somewhere else. That is what Section 1201 of the DMCA does to technology. It is a horrible, horrible law because even if I were to use the YouTube downloader to download a State of the Union address that was recorded on a public news network, not just have I done something illegal, but the people who created the tool have done something illegal, even if I never use that tool to break the law or pirate anything. This law criminalizes the tool rather than the action, which is why I find it to be insane. Let's say you have a developer of an exercise bike, and that exercise bike works with third-party software. And then they say, LOL JK, after you bought it, it's only going to work with our software. And by the way, our software has a cloud subscription fee. I believe that if you bought the product, that you own it, and you should be able to use that the way you did when you purchased the product, and that you should not be breaking the law to do it. So our nonprofit has been focused on getting people to bypass these technical protection measures and give people back access to what they bought and paid for. This gentleman found a solution, and he did not share a solution because he doesn't want to go to federal prison for 3 to 5 years. And I don't blame him. Now, one of the things that I brought up earlier is that when you have these types of horribly abusive laws, the people that gravitate to them tend to be the people that are, in my opinion, the biggest pieces of shit in society. When you have laws that allow you to abuse people, that give you power over others in this way, to take away their freedom in any way, shape, or form, that it often winds up getting used in the worst possible way. So I decided to look a little bit into this attorney. I wanted to look into how he talks to people, how he conducts himself, and see if I was correct in making that assumption. And I listened to a little bit more of that stream where he's talking about fair use, and here's what I got.
If he wants to discuss it here on the panel, but that's up to Paul.
True. And what's the big deal about that?
Well, you talk a lot of shit from your mommy's basement. And it turns out you're like some fucking loser.
How does that make me a loser?
Well, you make it seem like you're some big fucking stud and you're a fucking loser, can't even afford a new wheelchair. True or not?
No, that's not true.
I have a good friend, Thomas Daniel Queter. He started a nonprofit called Mobility Independence Foundation. He wasn't able to afford a wheelchair either at one point in his life. It's really difficult to get a job when you can't go outside. It's hard to go outside when you don't have legs. It's hard to afford a wheelchair when you don't have a job. And more importantly, it's really difficult to get one when the state of New York is arguing with you for 3 to 4 years, telling you that you have legs when you don't. You have no fucking idea what people that live in wheelchairs go through. And you sit there as this fucking fancy-ass lawyer bragging, talking down to people like this, laughing at people that have less money than you. You're my personal project now. I know you can feel that right through your suit. You had this little comment up earlier saying, look at how informed Lewis is. Then I made this post. I'm coming for you. Just like I came for another person that likes spending a lot of their time in Southeast Asia and bullying people. And you changed your post to this. Let's just establish that this never had anything to do with fair use.
What does Randy get if he wins? Well, apparently he gets clout in the auditing community because everybody's going to be rushing to hire him and sue the shit out of everybody. That's what he's hoping for. Isn't that right, Randy?
Yes, that is right.
Okay, well.
And if we win, your little buddy Frauditer really screwed all of you because then I can get to sue everyone for using ripping software.
Ripping software.
Even without regard to fair use. If you have videos on your channel that are from someone else, beware.
This is not about fair use. This has nothing to do with how much of somebody's YouTube video they used on their channel or whether it is fair use. When you invoke Section 1201 of the DMCA, what you're saying is you had to break a technical protection measure in order to grab that video from YouTube, because YouTube has a technical protection measure, to then put it into your video editing software to put it inside of your video. So even if what you did is 100% fair use, I still have standing and the ability to sue you. Beware. And he goes out of his way to sound like the cartoon villain that he is and put his mouth closer to the microphone to sound more ominous, and then says, beware. So is it safe to say at this point that this guy does not care about fair use, and that this is more about having the ability to willy-nilly take videos down from other people's channels and extort those channels if he sees fit to? I'm just going to put that on the table for a moment, that this is no longer about fair use. And I'm not going to be using the words fair use anymore, because that's not what any of this is about. It's about establishing a precedent that allows you to go after YouTube channels that have ever had React content in their videos. Let's continue on here to my second assertion that I'm going to make. I'm going to make the assertion that on average, people that are the type of people that are going to sue you because you used too much of their video in your video are the type of people that are more pedantic. They're the type of people that that follow the letter of the law more closely. And I'm not going to be mad at you for following the letter of the law more closely, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold you to the standard that you're trying to hold other people to. Because that's something that I learned in the video that I did on BWE. He's another guy that likes to travel Southeast Asia. It's important that I not hold people to my standard, but rather I hold them to the standard they held other people to. He was saying that he was not the person that I was accusing him of, and I am a privacy advocate. So I never asked him for his ID. But after he accused me numerous times of lying, I asked for his fucking ID. He never showed it. You are holding people to the exact letter of the law when it comes to fair use. We are suing you because you used too much of this content in this video. I'm going to start holding you to the standard that you're holding others to. Let's see how you like it. I'm going to establish who this person is. And as I'm going through this entire process, there's two questions I want you to keep in the back of your head. Number one, if this man is willing to get people in trouble for using screen capture software and using 1 minute or 2 minutes extra of somebody's video simply because the letter of the law says so, should he also be held to the same standard? Should he be held to the letter of the law? Secondly, do you think somebody that behaves in this way is a person that should have power over others? I want that question to be in the back of your head every time I go through something that he's done. Let's establish who he is. The attorney is Randall Scott Newman. This is his address, 99 Wall Street. RandallNewman.net is his website, and his California state bar number is 190547, as confirmed on the State Bar of California's website, as well as the New York State Bar's website. This is also on his LinkedIn, the same website, RandallNewman.net. When you go to RandallNewman.net, you'll see the DMCA Lawyer, and you will see this link to his YouTube channel over here. When you go to the YouTube channel, it has the exact same logo. So this is him. Now, let's see how it is he discusses things. Let's see how he engages with people when talking about cases, when in the Discord where all of these people that are involved in this are talking. And I will leave a link to that Discord down below. That piece of shit started with me, and he's truly a miserable fuck, so I don't feel bad. I didn't threaten him. I suggested his family would be happier if he killed himself, which is probably true. I'm just stating the obvious. Stop! I don't want to know more! I wasn't wrong. I secretly wish bone cancer on him and his family as well. Here, there's a message that's being quoted, and the message that's being quoted is a message that wasn't screenshot in time, where he's suggesting somebody else kill themselves. Someone says, hey, not okay, man. This can get a Discord report. Randall Scott Newman. Everyone will be happier. Just in case you're not sure what he's referring to, one of the things about these people, and I also said that about BWE, is that they tend to believe they'll never get in trouble for anything they do. So even though the message got deleted, he is going to probably say it again. Pardon me, what's the problem? It's gone now. Don't tell people to do that. It's a violation. Violation of what? This is Fight Zone. I didn't threaten him. I offered him a suggestion to end his miserable existence. Unfortunately, I doubt he would take my advice. Yeah, don't do that. The server can get reported for that. Do you have a screenshot of me telling Lauber to kill himself? I may get disbarred. LOL. Let's talk about what could potentially get you disbarred in a moment. What kind of moron thinks you win a lawsuit in 6 months? There's still time, loser, if you know what I mean. And just in case you don't know what he means, he also posts a meme of somebody hanging themselves. Sounds like a lovely guy. Let's take a look at what the laws are in these particular jurisdictions where he practices. In New York, a lawyer or law firm shall not engage in illegal conduct that adversely reflects on the lawyer's honesty, trustworthiness, or fitness as a lawyer. I would suggest that suggesting people kill themselves is not fit. Encouraging suicide may constitute a criminal offense under New York Penal Law Section 120.30, which provides that a person is guilty of promoting a suicide attempt when he intentionally causes or aids another person to attempt suicide. A lawyer or law firm shall not engage in conduct that is prejudicial to the administration of justice, and a lawyer or law firm shall not engage in any other conduct that adversely reflects on the lawyer's fitness as a lawyer. Let's go to the state of California. In California, they're a little bit stricter on this regard. The commission of any act regarding moral turpitude, dishonesty, or corruption, whether the act is committed in the course of his relations as an attorney or otherwise, and whether the act is a felony or misdemeanor or not, constitutes a clause for disbarment or suspension. If the act constitutes a felony or misdemeanor, conviction thereof in a criminal proceeding is not a condition precedent to disbarment or suspension from practice, therefore. Did he commit a felony? Any person who deliberately aids, advises, or encourages another person to commit suicide is guilty of a felony in the state of California. Aids, advises, or encourages another to commit suicide is guilty of a felony. And he's doing this to people that he's suing. In the server where they all talk. Now, again, I could hear people screaming in my comments. What about those 4chan people in your comment section that say Lewis drink bleach that have a picture of of bleach in their profile picture? And again, one of the reasons that I'm applying a different standard here than I do in my comment section, the 14-year-old people that show up in the YouTube comment section are harmless. They can't hurt me. They can't sue me. They can't bring legal action against me that will then result in me having to spend tens of thousands of dollars. And above all, they are not holding other people to the same standard. If you want to hold people to the standard of the law, you can only use 20 seconds of the clip, not 30, or it's not fair use. Then you're not allowed to break the law that says you're not allowed to encourage people to fucking kill themselves if you're a lawyer. I think we should hold you to that same standard. I'm going to include all this down below. Next up, contacting somebody who is represented by a lawyer that you know to be represented by a lawyer with a third party. So if you're a lawyer and you are suing somebody, you cannot contact them through some sort of random, unrelated third party. I'll read you the rule. In representing a client, a lawyer shall not communicate or cause another to communicate about the subject of the representation with a party the lawyer knows to be represented by another lawyer in the matter, unless the lawyer has had the prior consent of the other lawyer or is authorized to do so. In California, it says, in representing a client, a lawyer shall not communicate directly or indirectly about the subject of the representation with a person the lawyer knows to be represented by another lawyer in the matter, unless the lawyer has the consent of the other lawyer. The whole point of this is to prevent some sort of fuckery where you're able to get something that you can use against the person you're suing out of somebody by tricking them into talking without their lawyer. And that is there for a very good reason. Now, if you take a look, this has been broken several times. In this exhibit, there's a gentleman named Peter Coventry who is friends with Frauditor Troll. And he was asking him, can you ask him what he means when he said the 1,700 videos are gone forever? Did he retain the videos and the data? And then Peter Coventry says, he says they're gone, just said so clearly in the live stream, I believe for reasons I can't disclose without violating confidentiality. So he is trying, DMCALawyer over here, is trying to extract information about the person he is suing from somebody else rather than going through the lawyer. Can you ask him what he means about that? He's not saying, what is your knowledge of this? He's trying to trick this guy into believing that he's talking to his friend when in reality he's talking to the lawyer that is actively suing him. This is absolutely fucking disgusting. This is the type of behavior that can get you disciplined and disbarred, and for good reason. It's right here in writing that Newman is asking Coventry to secretly ask the complainant whether he had deleted certain videos. Coventry informed the complainant about these communications and provided screenshots at the complainant's request. The complainant here being Frauditor Troll. This rule is one of the most strictly enforced rules in the attorney discipline because it protects the attorney-client relationship. As I wrote in the complaint that I'm going to be sending to both the New York State and California Bar and following up on with all the evidence, Rule 4.2 should be one of the most strictly enforced rules in attorney discipline because it protects the attorney-client relationship. Newman's own emails demonstrate that he knew the complainant was represented. Rather than contact opposing counsel, he used a third party to attempt to extract case-related information. This is a textbook Rule 4.2 violation compounded by a Rule 8.4 violation for attempting to circumvent the rules through the acts of another. Next up is solicitation of clients. So you're not supposed to email people as a lawyer and say, hey man, you want me to take on this case for you? That's not the way this is supposed to work. A lawyer shall not engage in solicitation by in-person or telephone contact or by real-time or interactive computer access communication unless the recipient is a close friend, relative, former client, or existing client. In California, the rule is a lawyer shall not by in-person, live telephone, real-time electronic contact solicit professional employment when significant motive for doing so is in the lawyer's pecuniary gain unless the person contacted is a lawyer, has a family, close personal or prior professional relationship with the lawyer. This is a very, very strict one. And let's take a look at some of his posts. This is from the DMCALawyer. If you think deleting evidence is going to save you, think again. Troll Media Group went from 858 videos to 64 in just 3 days. No takedown notice, no lawsuit, not even a warning. Yeah, the trolls are scared. And then he starts pinging people with other channels that he would like to file suits on behalf of and says, email me. So he's pinging people on YouTube, which is going to get them a notification, and then saying, email me. He says it over here as well. If they're profiting on you, it may be time to hit back. And he is pinging people to solicit their business. These updates bring so much joy to my day. Email me if you want in on the action. And then come the actual direct quotes. By the way, Denver Metro Audit, please make my day. I have been trying to get a piece of litigation going with regards to Section 1201. I'm going to use a screen capture software or YouTube DLP, you can guess, to play back a section of your video where your lawyer admits on camera to breaking the law. I believe that's fair use when I'm playing a video clip of your lawyer admitting that he's breaking the law. But just in case you think it's not, feel free to sue me. I would love a test case.
This guy here, First Amendment FAPA, I've been fucking wanting to get in touch with this motherfucker for like weeks. He's like the biggest, maybe the big. They're using his footage more than anyone's at the moment. I've been trying to get a hold. Like I sent him a couple messages. He doesn't respond. Dude, you gotta email me, bro.
Okay, so you are sending somebody emails trying to solicit them to be your client. That's illegal. Unlike me using my screen capture software to play back a 40-second portion of your fucking video clip, which is what you're suing people for, what your lawyer does is actually illegal. You fucking piece of shit.
And I have seen some of your work. Once we saw your video, I was like, oh, I know this guy. I remember him. So I think you do great work, man. So keep it up, bro. I like you, man.
I didn't send him an email. I tagged him because I'm not really supposed to send emails.
Yeah.
To, like, ask for business.
Okay, so not only did he break the rule that says that you're not supposed to be soliciting business by direct email, but he admitted that he's done that. He admitted that he knows it's wrong, and that's why he's doing tagging. So A, he's tagging to try and get around the rule, and B, he's already said that he sent messages to people. You've established that you have knowledge of the rule, that you have intention to circumvent it. And again, this is the thing I said about BWE. There are some people where no matter what they do, it's like this. It's kind of like gangster lying, or it's like where I know that I'm lying, but I want you to know that I know that you know that I know that I'm lying. So I'm going to say the most fucked up shit, knowing that I will never be held accountable for it. This is similar to that, where he's doing shit that is blatantly against the law, blatantly against the rules of the California and New York State bar. He's doing it on live stream. He's saying it, and then he's laughing about it because this type of motherfucker assumes that he's never going to be held accountable. That's what we're here for. Hopefully, after you get reported to the New York and California State Bar by myself and anybody else who may agree that this constitutes illegal conduct, you will be held accountable. I can't stand people like this. I almost prefer people that hide when they're doing some fucked up shit because they actually tend to be less dangerous because they don't have this machismo that I know I'm breaking the law. I know I'm breaking the rules to fuck with people, and I am going to be public about it because I am so confident that I will never be held accountable for my behavior. Next, harassment and intimidation of opposing parties in pending litigation. New York RPC Rule 4.4a, transactions with persons other than clients, and respect for rights of third persons. In representing a client, a lawyer shall not use means that have no substantial purpose other than to embarrass, delay, or burden a third person. Burden or embarrass. Keep that in mind. Over here, the commission of any act involving moral turpitude. So let's see how Newman acts. Newman created and published degrading images targeting the complainant and the complainant's wife, who are defendants in Newman's client's lawsuit. After the complainant mentioned in a live stream that his hair was thinning, Newman created an image depicting him as bald. See Exhibit 16. After the complainant described his wife as beautiful during a live stream, Newman created and published an image mocking her physical appearance. And you could see the comment that he left. Savage. This post, by the way, I also still see up on Denver Metro Audits' channel, because it's not just enough to make fun of the person that you're suing, you also have to degrade their wife as well. Lovely. Sounds familiar? Isn't my wife beautiful? And you have this depicting her as horribly grotesque. It's just class act here, man. Class act. Encouraging people to make fun of the wife of the person that you are suing. Don't forget to donate. Denver Metro Audits, Liberty Troll, Money Please, massive lawsuit update, and you have this person that looks homeless with a beard, looking desperate, asking people for money. After the complainant launched a GoFundMe to help pay legal fees, Newman published an image depicting the complainant as a homeless beggar. You have to keep in mind that this case is being litigated on a contingency basis for the plaintiff, meaning that Denver Metro Audits is not paying anything for his lawyer right now, whereas the defendant is paying every single hour, whether it's $400 or $1,200 an hour, I don't know. Every single time he calls his lawyer, that's $400 out of his pocket. Newman is making fun of the fact that somebody does not have $40,000 under the couch cushion. And that's the part that I find really disgusting here. You're not just making fun of that person, but you're the reason that they don't have that money because you are the one filing the frivolous suit. You are the one taking the money away from them. How many people here have $1,000 in case of an emergency? How about $40,000? How do you feel about being made fun of because you don't have $40,000 in the case of an emergency? Because that's what he's doing. He has the ability to cost somebody that amount of money by bringing a lawsuit against them to begin with that they are now going to have to hire a lawyer to defend themselves with. 99% of my audience, I'm guessing, cannot afford to litigate a $20,000 to $60,000 case. That is why so many of you in my inbox, when I tell you, do this, do that, here's how I think you should fight back, you go, no, I'm afraid to, I don't have the money to get sued. Point taken. I understand that I'm in a very privileged and lucky place here, that A, I have the money, and B, before I had the money, I was crazy. I just didn't care. Most people are not as crazy as I am. He's making fun of people for not having the money to defend themselves against the financial ruin that he is bringing to them. This is kind of like Mike Tyson punching a 12-year-old in the eye and then laughing that he got a black and blue. It speaks to the character of this individual. Doxing. Newman published the complainant's full residential address on his YouTube channel and personal website without redacting it. Newman then bragged about unmasking the complainant's identity and created an image depicting the complainant as a homeless man hiding in a cardboard box. Now, for all of the comments I've seen saying, look at the people deleting their videos, the person that I've honestly tracking down any screenshots or anything from archive.org for DMCALawyer has been a lot of work for me, because every time he posts this type of stuff, he deletes it so that there's that plausible deniability of I never did it. This doesn't even show up on archive.org. If you look on archive.org, you'll see that there was an update that day, but this video did not get archived in time. So all I have for you here is the screenshot. But as you can see, he is bragging about the fact that he doxed somebody and he posted that to his channel. And Denver Metro Audits is posting, you can run, but you can't hide. See you in the chat. Lovely.
Well, you talk a lot of shit from your mommy's basement. It turns out you're like some fucking loser.
What? How does that make me a loser?
Well, you make it seem like you're some big fucking stud and you're a fucking loser, can't even afford a new wheelchair. True? True or not?
No, that's not true.
DMCALawyer. Paul J. Cohen, 2007, and T. Busman hanging out in the basement, eagerly awaiting Dr. Dave Frauditor Termination's live stream tonight. Roll on, boys. Two morons on wheels. Have you heard of Elf on a Shelf? How about Gimp on a Chimp? Maybe your mommy will roll you out of the basement for Christmas. Yeah, he's making fun of people who are disabled. Oh, I didn't even notice this until I went to edit the video. He's not just making fun of the guy for being disabled, he's also making fun of him for being Jewish. I forgot to read the end of it. Maybe your mommy will roll you out of the basement for Christmas, ... I mean Hanukkah with a menorah. Like, well, what are you, fucking, you think you're Cartman from South Park? And again, for anybody who thinks, oh, that's funny, that's a joke, you can't take a joke, it's not about that. It's this is the hall monitor. This is the guy who is invoking a law that makes it illegal to rip a DVD, who is trying to set a precedent about making YouTube downloaders and screen recorders illegal. I'm not saying you should get in trouble because you brought a number 3 pencil to school instead of a number 2. But when the person that gets you in trouble because you spent an extra 45 seconds in the bathroom laughing at a joke gets you detention, you bet your ass we're going to be checking the number of the pencil that person uses. They still use pencils in school? They have Scantrons? Am I showing my age here? I'm fucking old. I'm a bus boy. I love buses. And like, it's just... Wait. You were in a wheelchair. Is that true? Oh my God, that would be epically hilarious if that's true. Please tell me it's true, my favorite Jew. Why is that funny? Why is it funny that someone's in a wheelchair? The evidence shows you are paralyzed because of your own stupidity. Have fun with that, loser. We need to make sure everyone knows that you are a lame gimp sitting in your basement making fun of everyone else. Truly, truly ironic. So... Paul Cohen is this loser gimp who sims for Dr. Dave and Gurkha. Turns out he's some broke loser in a wheelchair. I just found this out due to some posts by the Angry Vet. Rule 8.4, misconduct. This is from New York. Maintaining the integrity of the profession. It is professional misconduct for a lawyer to engage in conduct that the lawyer knows reasonably should know is harassment or discrimination on the basis of race, sex, religion, national origin, ethnicity, disability, age, sexual orientation. Okay. Should reasonably know is harassment based on disability. I think he fucking knows that what he's doing is harassment based on disability. California has a similar law as well. Maintaining the integrity of the profession. Engage in conduct that they reasonably know is harassment. Now, you may think that that's trivial, right? It's also my opinion that using 1 or 2 minutes extra of somebody's video and claiming fair use is totally okay. But we're not talking about opinion here. We're talking about the letter of the law. This man is a hall monitor. He is a professional hall monitor. He makes his money and promotes his business by utilizing laws that allow him to act as a hall monitor. And I've always thought this consistently. If there's anybody in this world that should be held to the standard of every single fucking letter of the law, it is the hall monitor. Especially when that hall monitor laughs and makes a mockery and a fuckery out of everybody. From the people that he is harassing and suing over nonsensical bullshit to people who are genuinely disabled and may not have as much money as he does. In my opinion, this man is a disgrace. I reported him to the New York State and the California bar. And I'm going to include a link down below to a GitHub repository that has my complaint, as well as all the information that you will need if you want to make it better and file your own complaint. Maybe there's information that you have that I don't have. Maybe I got something wrong on my citation. You're welcome to take a look at that, and I hope that you improve it. If you believe that this is improper behavior for a lawyer to take part in, if you believe that this is inappropriate, here's the thing. I am not a tattletale in my normal life, but if you are the hall monitor and you've gotten me in trouble because I spent an extra 8 seconds in the bathroom and because I brought a number 3 pencil to school instead of a number 2, and now I got to stay extra and get detention because of it, you bet your ass that I'm looking for every single fucking thing that you did that's wrong. If you want to use the law as a hammer to bully people and beat them around as much as you want, then that hammer is also going to be used on you. I want you to think in the audience of every single time the DMCA or Section 1201 has screwed you over. Every single time you went to Spotify Revanced page and you saw a takedown notice or the software not available. YouTube Vance becoming Revanced. Company that makes ink cartridges getting sued because they got around the printer's DRM. Every single time you have heard the DMCA come up in a manner that has made your life shitty, you've probably had a caricature in your head about what the people sound like and what they look like and what they act like that come up with these fucked up laws to take advantage of people. And now you don't have to think about it as a caricature anymore because you heard it. You saw it. This is how they talk. This is how they act. This is how they treat people, and they think they can get away with it, but they don't have to get away with it. You can fight back. You can do the exact same thing that he's doing, except when you do it, it's not going to be malicious. When you do it, it's going to be just. What you can do is you can take all of these laws that he has broken and point it out to the New York State and California bar. If one person submits a complaint, I don't know if it's going to get someplace. But if you believe that this is conduct that is worthy of disciplinary action, and in my opinion, it sure as fuck is, you can do something about it. This is not a random person that just made a joke. This is a person that actively wants to fuck with the underpinnings of the internet for fun and for money. And he's going to continue to do it unless somebody gets in his way. I'm here to get in your way. I'm going to continue to get in your way. In Denver Metro audits, I want you to seriously think about this. As I said in the beginning of the video, First Amendment auditing has a serious place in our society. We need to live in a place where I can show up to a legislative hearing. I met you, I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure, I have to go back to the stream and see if it was you, but I think I met you at that town hall where we were talking about flock and everybody was showing up because the mayor of Denver fucked everybody over and decided to renew the contract by making it $1,000 or $1,000 less than the limit for city council to approve it. I was able to record that because of people like you that are First Amendment auditors. I've traveled to places in this country before where I was not allowed to record, where they said I had to have a fucking press pass to be able to record the bullshit that Apple and Samsung lobbyists were lying to politicians, or I wasn't allowed to do it. And the press was never there. CBS was never there. Fox was never there. NBC was never there. People like you and I showed up to record that type of stuff. Citizen journalists. And that's how you create real change. You have the power to be a part of that, or you have the power to associate with this bullshit. Because when you associate with this bullshit, when you associate with people like this and bring that energy into everything you're doing in your life, it discredits the entire concept of First Amendment auditing. Let's be real here. This is fucking Keemstar with a law degree and a pension for traveling to Southeast Asia. Never go full Keemstar. People are going to look at this, at you making fun of what somebody's wife looks like and laughing at people that are in a wheelchair and bringing these bullshit lawsuits using laws that are the exact opposite of the spirit of what you're doing. And they're going to say, fuck these people. This is just a bunch of TikTok rage bait content. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't even care about it. And the worst part about that is that you're going to foster a generation of people that laugh at the idea of caring about the rights that there's a good reason to care about. Is this what you want your movement to be associated with? Is this what you want your channel and your personality to be associated with? I've made a lot of mistakes over the course of my life, and I'm going to make many mistakes into the future. In my opinion, one of the mistakes that you made was ever associating with this man. You have the ability to turn that around, and I want to present you with the opportunity to turn that around. Drop this frivolous lawsuit against this man. Accept the fact that somebody who didn't like you uploaded a video that probably made him fucking 50 cents or $20 in advertising revenue that's a fraction of what you've ever made in your life, and that he has the right to criticize you. Don't try to utilize a law that fucks with the fundamental underpinnings of technology and the internet that should have never existed in the first place just because you weren't able to push through a fair use strike on YouTube. Do you want to be on the right side of history, or do you want to be associated with this bullshit? That's your choice. I'm 100% certain that every single person who's criticizing you right now, if you change track on something like this and you decided to stop associating with these fucking losers, that they'll support you and be with you. And I would too. I'll see you in the next video. And Mr. Newman, I'm watching you. You better not come sue me. In fact, maybe you should. Be the last lawsuit you ever make. That's it for today. And as always, hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.